Okay, that's it. Now we're back here with our new segment, which is grammar in grammar in MK. So our topic, actually we have two topics. So I'm going to discuss about modals, and then the other teacher, which is my partner, going to discuss about relative pronoun. Okay, so let's start with modals. Please bear with me, guys, because I am not a techie person. Alright. Oh, okay, this one first. So, what are the usage of modal verbs, or the characteristic of modal verbs? First, they never change their form, meaning to say, you shouldn't add ed as a past tense, or as well as ing form, or add some s. Okay, next, they are always followed by an infinitive without to, meaning to say you don't need to add this word, which is the to. So like for example, I can swim, so we don't need to say I can plus to swim, only the main verb. Okay, next we have, they are used to indicate modality, allows speakers to express certainty, possibility, willingness, obligation, necessity, and ability. Okay, so let's go back here first. List of modal verbs. We have can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, and must. So for today's discussion, we're going to discuss about can. Okay, so let's start. Let's talk about first the structure of can. So first we have subject plus auxiliary verb, which is can, and then plus the main verb. Oh, hi, Yohan Kim. Alright, next. So for example, how to form a sentence using can. For positive sentence, we have I can play tennis. So we have subject as I, okay, plus the word can, and then plus the main verb, which is play. And then for the negative sentence, I cannot play tennis. Next. Okay, please bear with me. I cannot see myself. Okay, next we have okay, so let's talk about the usage of can. So can for possibility and ability. So meaning to say, we can use can for what is possible and able or free to do. So for example, we have number one, she can drive a car. Can drive here meaning is ability. Okay, able to drive a car. Next we have number two. Where is my, okay, John can speak Spanish. So can speak here is also an ability, able to speak. Next, I cannot hear you, a negative sentence for the word for the modal verbs can and can you hear me as a question. Where is my, next we have can for request and order. So this is like similar when you form a question, but this is not really a question. We usually use this to ask someone, okay, or to ask a person that want something to do. Somehow like that. For example, we do not really know if the person is able to do something, okay, but we want them to do it. So for example, we have can you make a coffee? a cup of coffee, please. So mean to say you are asking him to make you a cup of coffee. Next, can you put the TV on? And can you come here a minute? Please take note that we usually use this mainly for our friends and family, because this is like an informal way of how to use requests and orders. Okay, next we have can for permission. So we also use can and asking permission. For example, can I smoke in this room? You can't smoke here, but you can smoke in the garden. And then I add something here. Wait. Yeah, can for future use. Meaning to say, normally we use can for the present tense. Okay, but there are times that we also use can for the future ability. Especially if you make a decision, okay, in present, and then about a future ability. Yeah. So we have here example, can you help me with my homework? So this is present tense. For letter B, sorry, I'm busy today, but I can help tomorrow. So this is for the future, okay, future ability. The decision is in a present tense, but can help tomorrow is for the future. Okay, so if you have any questions with that, please do comment below. Yeah, one key. Okay, next, let's discuss about could. Okay, structure of could, we have subject plus, again, auxiliary verb, which is could, and then plus the main verb. Okay, so could for past possibility or ability. So basically, this is really the past tense only of can. So for example, I could swim when I was 5 years old. My grandmother could speak 7 languages. This is just really the past tense of can for possibility or ability. Next, could for request. Could you tell me where the bank is? Please, could you send me a catalog, please? So, as we discussed before, can also, right, you can use it for request, but this one is more formal. So if you're asking request to someone which is a stranger, kindly use this one compared for the word can. Okay. Next we have be able to. Take note, be able to actually is not a modal verbs. Okay, I just added this one because there are times that you cannot use can and could in some tenses, right? But this is not a modal verbs. Okay, this is basically be, so be form plus able, which is an adjective, plus to as infinitive. Okay, so we have a structure here, subject, okay, plus be form plus able, and then plus to infinitive. Again, this is not a modal verbs, but you will know why I added here. Okay, be able to. So be able to for ability. So instead of using the word can for ability, you can also use able to. So for example, I am able to swim, or I can swim. And then next we have be able to when you want to use other tenses or the infinitive. Okay, so as I've discussed earlier, right, can and could, sometimes you cannot use them in other tenses, especially if you need to form like a past perfect or present perfect. For example, I have been able to swim since I was 5. So for these kind of tenses, you can only use here able to or be able to. Remember, for can, it is only for present tense. Okay, and then for could, it is only for past tense. Okay? Next. For the future also, you cannot use as can and could, because yeah, it's can is only for the present, could is only for the past. So for the future, you can only use able to. For example here, you will be able to speak perfect English very soon. Next, if you're going to use to infinitive, of course, you cannot use the word can and or the modal verb, which is can and could. So, for example, I would like to be able to fly an airplane. So, for this one, of course, you cannot use can and could. Okay. Next, another, when we talk about when we talk about one special occasions in the past, we use be able to as positive and couldn't as negative. Okay, I will explain it to you in this example. Okay, so past as a general form, my grandmother could speak Spanish. So this is the past tense of can, right? And could is the past tense for general. But in a certain situation, for a specific occasion, we couldn't use could, especially if it is in a positive sentence. A man fell into the river yesterday. The police were able to save him. So why we cannot use could here? Because could as a general, it is only the past tense of can. Okay, so if you're using it in a positive sentence, only we can use for the negative only positive. For the past tense, we can only use were able to. Okay, unlike for negative, you can use both. So my grandmother couldn't speak Spanish. A man fell into the river yesterday. The police couldn't save him. Just remember that if you use it for a specific occasion, which is positive, we shouldn't use the word could. Okay. If you have any question, just comment. Wait. My hands already numb. Alright, next. Okay, let's continue with next modal verbs. We have may and might. So this is only maybe simple compared for the can and could. Okay, may. We usually use may when we are not sure about something in the present or future. So we have example here. For example, Jack may be coming to see us tomorrow. So you are not sure. That's why we use the word may. Perhaps Jack will come to see us tomorrow. Okay, next we have she's had no sleep. She may be tired. So perhaps she is tired. So you are not sure about it. And remember, we use it only for the present or future tense. Why? Because later I will discuss that one. Okay, and then next we have to ask for permission in a formal way. Remember, you can also use asking permission using the word can, right? But this is more of formal way. So for example, may we come a bit later? May I smoke in here? Next, to give permission in a formal way. You may go now, you may come at 11 if you wish. Okay, might. So we use might when showing that something is or was possible. He might get there in time, but I can't be sure. It might not be too late to save the building. Okay, I will discuss it further. Okay, so this is used as a past tense of may when reporting what somebody has said. So remember that if for a may, we only use may for the present tense and future tense. So if we're going to use it for the past tense, which is reporting for somebody, we usually use the word might. But actually both of them, you can use both of them in this one. showing that something is or possible. Only that? Yes, this is our last topic. May versus might. Only that there are in possibility, something that is possible. Both are actually interchanged with subtle difference maybe. So like for example, it may rain or it might rain. So if we're talking about it may rain, the chance probably is like 70% chance that it may rain, and then it might rain is around maybe 30% chances. Yeah, so the intensity of possibility. Yes, and I guess yeah, that's it for our modal verb. So on Tuesday, let's continue about these modals. So I'm going to give you already to my partner. Yes, my partner in ESL. Sir Daryl will discuss about relative pronoun. So here's Daryl June.
Okay, hello guys, and I'm back. So this time we will talk about relative pronoun. So who among you are familiar with relative pronoun? Yeah, somehow some of you have difficulty trying to find the correct relative pronoun, right? Okay, but this time I will try to tell you quickly or maybe in more detailed how to use relative pronoun. Okay, so are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, I think everyone's ready. So, but before we start, when we say okay, what do we mean when we say the word relative pronoun? So here, it means it is a word that introduces a dependent or relative clause and connects it to an independent clause. So it means we can find relative pronoun in these both clauses. But by the way, when we say dependent and independent clause, what do we mean by that? So here, we can find the difference of dependent and relative clauses, okay, or independent clause, I mean. So here, when we say relative or independent clause, it means it's a group of words with a subject and a verb, and it does not express a complete thought. So it is not a sentence and it can't stand alone. So it means even though this kind of clause has subject or verb, but somehow the thought is incomplete. And if the thought is incomplete, it cannot stand alone. So we call that as a relative or dependent clause. From the word depend, it means depend on the main clause or independent clause. So when we say the word independent clause, guys, it means it's a group of words that contains both a subject and a verb. And it expresses a complete thought and can stand alone as a sentence. So it means, yeah, this kind of clause has a subject and it has a verb, and this clause can stand by itself and it has a complete thought. So we call that as an independent clause. Okay, to give more clarification about the difference of this clause, I will give you an example. So here we have the student who studies hard became the top of the class. So in this sentence, as is one, we have the relative pronoun who, and of course our subject here is student. So somehow most of the students, not only students but also some people, have problem in determining the correct verbs on this sentence, because in this kind of sentence we can see two verbs, right? We have studies and we have the word became. So for you guys, where do you think is the main verb in this sentence? Okay, so here, the red one here, or the red italicized words are, we call that as the relative clause. So remember, it has a subject or it can also have a verb. But remember, it cannot stand alone and it has no complete meaning. So the word who studies hard, it has no complete meaning actually. So that's why we call it one as a dependent clause, because it depends on the main clause or independent clause. So here, that's why we call this one as relative or dependent clause. And here we have the word student, and then the student became the top of the class. So if you notice, we have the subject student, and we have the verb became there. So if you try to separate this sentence, okay, we can notice that the student became the top of the class. So this sentence expresses a complete thought, right? But when we say who studies hard, if you try to separate them into into separate ideas, the word who studies hard has no complete thought. So it cannot stand alone. So the phrase or the clause who studies hard is called dependent clause. Okay, do you get it? Okay, now let's go back here. So we have here some list of common relative pronoun. First one, we have who. Who usually refers to a person. So use who if you talk about person as the verb's subject. So commonly we can find who next to the subject as a person, okay? Because commonly in our subject we have noun, we have person, we have things, but we can use who if it is near. If the subject is a person, it is near the subject, so we use who there. For whom, it refers to a person also, but as the verb's object. So it means it is far from the subject itself. It means we can find whom if it's inside the predicate or inside the group of verbs. And for which, it refers to an animal or thing. Yeah, commonly we use which for animals or things. And commonly, what refers to a non-living thing. For me, actually, guys, if I want to use which and what, I can use them interchangeably because both of them have the same meaning as for me. Okay, so you can use which or what or which. Oh, this one. Okay. Oh, what is another form actually? Okay, and which are that I mean. So that refers to a person, animal, or thing. I mean which in that we can use it interchangeably. Okay, but what is also another form of our relative pronoun. So it refers to a non-living thing. Yeah, commonly. So I will try to explain it more later. First one, we have who, whom, and whose. Commonly for who, guys, it has two other forms. The object form, whom, and the possessive form, whose. So when we say object, of course, as I mentioned earlier, we can find it in after the verb because whom is somehow connected to the verb. But if you use who, it is connected with the subject. And for the word whose, we use whose for possession. What you have, what some person has, okay, we use it for a possessive relative pronoun. For example, okay, we have here who and whom are usually mainly for people. However, these pronouns can also be used to refer to animals that are mentioned by the name and seen as persons. For me, actually, I want to use who for people, but some books mentions that you can also use it for animals, but I think it's not really common. So to be safe, use only who or whom if you want to talk about for persons. Okay? We have here more example sentences. So for number one, the musician who wrote this song is Canadian. The highlighted word there is who. As you notice, the who here, we can find the who after the subject musician. So if you want to describe more about musician, we try to use relative clause. And guys, remember, relative clause can also become as adjective. So we call it as adjective clause sometimes. So if you want to make your sentence complex, we can use relative clauses by using WH clauses. Okay, so like this one, the musician who wrote this song is Canadian. In this sentence, who wrote this song is our relative clause because we have who, then our verb who wrote this song. Okay, but our main verb here is, of course, it is. Okay, so is Canadian. So do not be confused. As you notice, we use who here because who is connected or near to the subject, and the subject here is a person. Okay, so it's musician. How about for whom? Remember, who and whom or whose, sometimes we can use them as for person, but commonly there's like difference in how we use them properly. So here we have the witnesses whom I interviewed gave conflicting evidence. As you notice, also this one is near the subject, but for me, if I want to make this more clear, for whom here in the middle, we have the subject witnesses, and then we follow that with another subject and verb here, so we can use whom there. And if you notice, between the whom we have witnesses and I, there are different persons, so we can use whom there. But if you check the word musician who wrote, so they are the same persons, so we can use who there. That was easier actually if you want to use who or whom. Okay, and we have the vacuum card our cat Scooter, who was sleeping on the rug. Okay, so Scooter, the word who here refers to Scooter. I think Scooter this is an animal, the name of a dog maybe, or a cat. So as you notice, we have comma here. Commonly guys, some people are confused if they want to put comma with a comma before they use the relative clauses. But commonly in my own idea, you want to use comma if the flow of your speech, if you want to speak about these clauses, stops. If you stop somehow and it interrupts your flow of speaking, then we can put comma before WH clauses. But if you think that your flow of speech is not affected by the WH clauses, then we can say that we don't need to put some comma there. And also, I think that's the difference. Tomorrow I will try to explain more about it, okay? And more, we have for whose. For whose, we use this for possession, what a person has. So it can be used also for people, animals, or things, or what they have itself. For example, we have for number 1, the man whose daughter won the tournament is a tennis coach. As you notice here, we have the man. So this man is a father, I believe, because this man has a daughter. So if you notice, we have who's here, and this man possessed or has his daughter, so we can use who's there after the man to make it a relative clause, or to use the who's as a relative pronoun. So we can say the man whose daughter won the tournament is a tennis coach. So guys, in this sentence, can you tell me the verb or the main verb here? Yes, I think the main verb here, of course, it is. It's not the word won, because the word whose daughter won the tournament is just a relative clause. Even though it has the subject, even though it has a verb, it cannot stand alone. Remember, because this is a dependent clause and it depends on the independent clause. And for the second question, second example, we have a dog whose owner lets it run loose may cause an accident. Oh, we have a dog. Oh, the dog owns an owner. Okay, the dog possesses an owner. So maybe we can use also like this, is possible. Okay, but for me, yeah, it's okay. So here we have the dog. The dog possesses the owner, and so as we notice, the dog whose owner lets it run loose may cause an accident. So in this sentence, we have whose owner lets it run loose may cause run loose. I mean that is your relative clause, and our relative pronoun here is whose. So as you notice, guys, most of these WH here, also for whose, for number 3, we can see them after the noun. We have the tree, the noun, whose branches shade my kitchen window is an oak. So that's why, remember, if you want to make your sentence complex, I would advise you to use WH clauses or relative clauses to make your sentence more complex and longer. Okay, and for the next one, oh, we have which. Commonly, For some people, they use which. Which is kind of easy to use because we use which for animals and in general or things somehow. So maybe we can use it for things, we can use it for people sometimes, or maybe for animals. So we can use in every situation. For example, we have Bridget visited the park with her dog, comma, which likes to chase squirrels. So as you notice, guys, when I spoke this sentence, I had to pause, right? After the dog. So it means it interrupted my flow of speaking. So if it interrupted my flow of speaking before I use the relative clauses, then I need to put comma there before the relative clauses. Okay? And we have, for the second example, Jason bought a top hybrid car which will help him save on gas. Oh, we have a comma here again. So some people they put comma, some people they don't. As long as it does not interrupt your flow of speaking, then there's no comma. But if it interrupts your flow of speaking, there should be comma. Okay, that's one tip to have a proper way of writing relative clauses in formal type of exercises. And that can be used for people, animals, or things. Okay, guys, as you notice, we have that and which here. Which can be also used for animals, things, and also that can be used for animals or things. Also, we have people here for that. So here for that and who, you can interchange them. It's possible because for people we can use who or that, but in my case, to be safe, I want to use who. Who is better than that? For example sentence, we have the musician that won the award is Canadian. Or you can also change the words that here. You can say who. The musician who won the award is Canadian. And here, if you notice, after the subject musician is followed by that, so the that clause is found after the subject. And remember, this that clause or this WH clauses or the clause is describing about the subject and which is musician. And we have the car that Jason bought runs on electricity and gas. Oh, we have car. Car is a subject and our verb here is runs on electricity and gas. And our relative clause here is that Jason bought runs Jason bought, only that. Okay, that's all. So if you notice, we also have subject and verb here again, but still it cannot stand by itself. And for the last example, the dog that is chasing the squirrels belongs to Bridget. Oh, we have dog. One more time. Dog here is an animal, so we use that. We cannot use who for dog, okay? Because dog is only an animal. The dog that is chasing the squirrels belongs to Bridget. Okay, so that's all. So somehow it's kind of easy, right? Okay. Oh, we also have other relative pronoun. So quickly, guys, the previous one that I showed you, for these relative pronouns, these are the common one. We have who, whom, which. Oh, we have what. Okay, I will explain tomorrow what's what, okay? Because I think I have typographical error there, but tomorrow I will try to explain more how to use what as a relative pronoun. But here we have who, whom, which, that, and I would like to add whose here, there, okay? So these are the common relative pronoun. But also we have other relative pronouns, and to be honest, I also feel difficult to use this other relative pronoun. Okay? We call them somehow as compound relative pronoun. When we say compound, it means like two words sometimes. So here, commonly we use this it applies universally to a number of people or things. So when we use this for people or things, if you want to use compound relative pronouns. And what are these compound relative pronouns? This includes whoever, whomever, whichever, and whatever. If you want to use whoever, can be used if a subject pronoun and works like the pronouns he, she, and they. So commonly, it can be worked as a pronoun near the subject sometimes. So you can use whoever. Later, I will give you example how to use this properly. And we also have the word whomever. From whomever, we use this if an object pronoun and it works like the pronouns him, her, and them. So for whoever, we use this for pronoun that we can interchange that with he, she, or they. But from whomever, we use that for pronouns that we can interchange that for him, her, and them. This one is kinda a little bit high level, but don't worry, I know you can do it if you study harder. And we have whichever. If you want to use whichever, it means any one from a limited set. So it means you are given the choices here. So when you say whichever, it means, oh, maybe this one, or maybe I have 3 choices. So for example, my father wanted me to buy something, so he gave me 3 choices. So he told me, okay, Darrell, you can choose whichever you like from these items. So it means I have limited choice to buy something. So I can use whichever there. But how about whatever? For whatever, we use this to emphasize a lack of restriction in referring to anything or amount. For whatever, there is no limitation. There is no restriction. Unlike for whichever, I can only choose within these 3 items. But for whatever, I can choose, or I can say whatever I want to buy in the mall. So it means if my father is really rich, I can say, oh, Darrell, you can choose whatever you want in the mall. So it means I can buy even though it's expensive or not. So we can use whatever there. Okay, clear? Okay. Now we have here some example sentence with comparative pronoun. First one, we have, please tell whoever may call that I am not available. The other whoever, right? Remember whoever, we use this in exchange for she, he, or they. That's why we use whoever there. You can say, please tell her, whoever, you have the whoever there, may call that I am not available. Well, this one's kind of complex. Yeah. But anyway, remember, we can, if it refers to some pronouns like he, she, or they, we use whoever there. For whomever, oh, this one's kind of difficult. Whomever you hire will be fine with me. This one is kind of comparative pronoun, but it's difficult to explain. But for whomever, we use this as our clue here, an object pronoun and works like the pronouns him, here, and them. It works like, it's similar like, but somehow it's near the pronouns him, her, and them. For example, sentence, whomever you hire will be fine with me. And next one, we have, whichever train you take from here, you will end at Charing Cross Station. For whichever, it means, for our example here, it means anyone from a limited set. So it means maybe in the train station, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bus stations or train stations there. And when whichever you choose, only one there, you can go to the destination that you want to go, or in the Charing Cross Station. So we can use whichever in that situation if there is a choice or a given choice that you need to choose only one, okay? And for the last one, we have, Carly will be successful at whatever she chooses to do in life. So here for Carly, maybe she is planning for her career, and people believe in her that whatever she chooses in her life, she'll become successful. So it means there is no definite or exact course or career that she chooses, but people believe on him that he can become successful. Whatever kind of career that she chooses in her life, it means there is no limitation there. We use whatever in the sentence. But if you use whichever, it means there is limitation. Okay? There's a problem there. So don't be confused about whichever and whatever. Okay, so I think that is for comparative pronoun. Let's have a short summary before we end our lesson. Okay, now again, so for our relative pronoun, remember it is a word that introduces a dependent or relative clause and connects it to an independent clause. So it means relative pronoun connects both clauses. And for these clauses, we have 2 kinds of clauses, relative clauses and independent clauses. Remember again, when we say independent clauses, it can stand alone and it has a complete thought. But when we say dependent or relative clause, it cannot stand alone and it has no complete idea. Okay, and we have the list again. We have who, we use who for person, whom, also for person, but we refer to this for object, which, that, also for things, animals, or maybe other kind, or people also for that. And we have what. What I will explain next time for what. And for our another relative pronoun, we have whoever. We use this as a subject pronoun and works like the pronoun he, she, and they. This one is kind of a little bit difficult, but I would recommend everyone to study more about this one because not everyone can easily understand how to use this compound relative pronoun. For whoever, we use this as a subject pronoun and works like the pronouns he, she, and they. For whomever, an object pronoun and works like the pronouns him, her, and them. For whichever, whatever, this one's kind of easy, right? Remember, if you want to use whichever, there's a given set of choices. So it means choose only one. It means whichever. And for whatever, there's no given set of choices, and you have no limitation, whatever you want to choose. Okay, with whatever. Okay, I think that ends our lesson for grammar. So if you have any more questions or clarifications, kindly comment down below. I'm willing to answer your questions if there's something that's still bugging you. And I believe that's all. Oh, I can end early this time. Okay, anyway guys, that's all for our grammar lessons. And I hope you enjoy my simple lesson for grammar. And see you again next time. Goodbye and take care. By the way, I'm Daryl and see you again.